Welcome to the Edge Up Podcast with your hosts Reed and Glenn from Hawaii Trading Academy.
Aloha traders, Reed and Glenn here with Hawaii Trading Academy. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to dive deep into what creates a successful trader. What aspect is the most important? What do we hear the most? You know, there's a word that we hear a lot in this episode, we're going to get into that specific word there. Without further ado, let's get into it. Glenn, what is the most important thing that you believe creates a successful trader?
If I was to see myself, my younger self, the one who's starting out trading, I would tell the younger Glenn that, hey, there's no one thing that defines a great trader. Okay, maybe that's their one thing that separates them from other traders that gives them their edge, but there's no one attribute, no one characteristic. I think a lot of the great traders out there, Ray Dalio, Tom Basso and all them, they have just a group of traits and characteristics that they use to develop great track records, great trading, and great overall results. And one of the main ones, that we've come across that always finds its way back into our content and back into what we share and what we dive into is consistency, guys. Consistency. It might sound cliche, but I think that's the thing that we have to keep at the forefront, being consistent. And now it has a lot of different meanings. The consistency for you and I, our younger selves, Read, it totally different from the consistency we see now or what we're focusing on. What would you say to that? What would you say to younger Reed?
To answer the question that I asked too is like, I agree with you. Very cool point. Cause I was thinking one word, right? I was thinking like consistency is that word that creates successful traders. But that's such a loaded word. Like, what does that even mean? Right. I mean, like I show up, like if I told, okay, I'll start from myself, my example. When I was a younger Reed, coming into trading, I thought consistency meant showing up every day. Just look at the charts and that's it, right? Nothing to do with journaling, nothing to do with markups or none of that. Like once you show up consistently, then consistent profits will show. That was my mindset as a beginner trader, right? Because like it's not timing the market, it's time in the market, right? Like that's what I hear also. Like and that means experience, right? And I think that's what I would tell or that's how I saw myself. So if I was going back though, I'd be like, no, there's more action to just showing up, right? That's phase one of it. There's more to it. And I would say, like journaling, that's really what I'm getting at is consistently journal, because you can't learn from just, or you're limiting yourself when you're not journaling consistently. That's what I would say. How about yourself, man? What would you tell your younger self to now?
Well,
the evolution.
Let's reel it back. I mean, you're already giving some of the meat there.
Okay.
I think to help our what we would tell ourselves when we first started, like I think trading, just if you step out, trading as a whatever you call it, a job or investing and whatnot, this whole whole world of trading, the barrier may seem easy to get in nowadays, but the barrier to stay in and stay progressing and actually make it's very, very high. And I feel like consistency, just being able to, like you were saying, to continue to show up, that is a basic requirement. It's almost like breathing when you're trying to become a trader. Like you need consistency. You need to show up when the market's beating you down, losses after losses. If you tap out prematurely on your journey, maybe have a great reason. Everyone has a reason to do so, but that is one of the requirements I feel that you need to develop that grit, that consistency, the that never give up attitude type of deal. And then you'll get into the next phase as you evolve as a trader. I just wanted to point that out before we, dive a little more into the word consistency. It's just having those different barriers of entry and those different levels as you progress as a trader.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of you got my brain going here. Is prop firms kind of have not only lowered the bar to get in, but it's also I think it actually has lowered the bar for how consistent people are. Because there's some people in other countries that aren't as wealthy as the U.S. and they're able to trade now, right? And that's thanks to prop firms, and they're able to do that full time. And I think what you mentioned, right, showing up consistently to become that profitable trader. One thing that has always a quote that stuck with me is the only person that fails at trading is the person that gives up. And that's so perfect with consistency. Like, yeah, you're gonna fail when you don't show up, right? It's kind of like a person who wants to lose fat, but they'll never go to the gym. It's like, hey, or like maybe they'll go to the gym once a month. You're like, I'm going to the gym consistently once a month, right? But maybe it's what is the word I am looking for? Like the amount of times, the quantity of times in
Yeah.
a certain amount of time. You know what I mean?
I,
You can't even do like 1 month, 100%, 30 days in a row, workout, and then take the next 6 months off, and then be like, oh, I only work out once every quarter for the whole month. I work out 1 month every quarter. You're probably not gonna see the results that you want, right? You see it
yeah.
for 1 month,
So
but
you're saying, Reed, a trader cannot show up and try to trade for the month and expect to be a millionaire
no
after
way.
that?
If anything, you'll get lucky. Like that's
You'll get
the
lucky.
closest you'll get. But you
Yeah.
can't do that consistently. You can't do that. I want to say like forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Like going back to the barrier, yeah, the entry. You can open it takes a few minutes to open up a new broker account, right? But what will you do with it, right? I think going, something to share for those who want to dive into trading or already have been trading. Something I like to look at is, where do you want to go, right? What's the destination you're trying to reach with trading? And then work your way back to determine what you will need to be doing in order to achieve it, right? You're using the gym analogy. If my goal was to lose 3 pounds throughout the whole year, then yeah, maybe gym, once a month might do it, right? I just got to cut out some junk food and I'll hit my
You're
goal.
absolutely yeah. Maybe like it's a certain goal, right? Like the goals are really based on the individual.
Yeah, just to bring it into perspective in trading, guys.
That's
Uh,
fair.
yeah, yeah. You just got to put in. You have to put in the work. I mean, there's things you have to develop. You have to be able to read price action to a certain extent. You have to understand the terms. You have to understand the platforms. Those all take time. Those all take a little bit of work to be sufficient at it. You don't have to be a professional or be top of your game. The top 1.5%, but you have to, there is that barrier, the bare minimum requirement to continue to jump on your platform, know it, or jump on your broker and understand, okay, like, here's my margin, I have to respect that. Here's my how to do our order ticket. I have to understand that if I press this button, I'm gonna, it's gonna mess everything up. You gotta understand that. And part of it is just being consistent and being determined to achieve whatever goal you set forth when you come into the game, guys.
And like in the beginning, when you're just showing up to trade, I think something that I lacked, I know, is putting like intention behind it. Like I was just cycling through pairs. I say this often. I cycled through like 20 pairs, 24 pairs consistently. I'm like, yeah, I'm consistently looking for opportunities. I'm showing up, but I wasn't intentional. I wasn't like, okay, why isn't there opportunities, or what am I missing? You know, I wasn't asking any questions. And I think that's that's something that takes part into consistency. Like, what are you intentionally being consistent with, and for what? Like,
Well,
yeah, goals are good.
yeah. Let me ask you this, bro.
Oh,
Where the can consistency work against you?
yeah, absolutely. You could have consistently bad habits. Like, that's my initial thought. Is like, you could, what if you have a consistent habit, or a habit of adjusting your stop loss every time it goes 15 pips against you, you know, and you're not letting that hit your stop loss, right? And I think that's a bad habit. Or you constantly, oh, I'm gonna only trade at when I'm drunk or something. You know, that's a bad habit, right? So it's just like, who knows, but like, you know, there are bad habits out there. You could be consistently doing something harmful.
Yeah, valid
Yeah.
point. Valid point. So like we could accurately say consistency can be a double-edged sword, guys. Going back into this whole topic and consistency, you were talking about intention and whatnot. So like w- where does that come in? How do you be intentional with your emotions? Like you want to develop a sense of consistency, but like, okay, do I consistently be happy when I trade? Do I consistently be, just s- try to be as focused as possible? Like, you know, where would a person want to be, ideally, a trader when it comes to their emotional or mental state? And, how would people consistently hit there? Like, if they want to be focused, how do we get to that point day by day throughout the trading journey?
Oh man, that's a. I like these from the hip questions, dude. I love it because it gets me thinking. My initial question, I mean, answer would be flow state. Like, that was my initial thought. I would love to hear your answer, but my answer is that how to be intentional is you get into that flow state. How do you eliminate emotions? Like you said, like, am I supposed to be happy all the time? Am I supposed to be no emotion all the time? No, we're humans. We're always going to have emotion. It's always going to be there. It's taming those emotions and not applying those emotions to the market. Like, I know, like, for example, this morning I drank coffee. I felt really, really good. Today is a great day. Today's good, but is it good because I drank the coffee? So even though I had coffee this morning and I was feeling really good, I was still able to control that. And this just is experience, you know, it's be able to control that emotion of like, okay, I'm all jittery. I'm like good, but be calm when it comes to the charts. Like, yeah, I'm like all over the place and I'm finding new things and I like it, but at the same time, I'm not reacting off of that, how I'm feeling, right? I'm going off of my plan, man. How about you? I would love to hear your answer. So yeah, my answer is flow state. That's how you become intentional. And I guess, like, if you have a question on how to get into flow state, it's easy answer, and we'll just leave it at that because we did do an entire episode on flow state. It's meditation. To me, meditation is an easy go-to for me, but would love to hear your answer, man, on how to be more intentional
As you were going, I
and
was
consistent.
yeah, as you were going, I had like a quick flashback thought. Um, the emotional aspect of trading. I remember when I would hit, be in profit in some of my trades back then. I would have like a jittery, excited feeling, you know, and that feeling, I try to be consistent in achieving that feeling from
Oh.
day after. So I was almost chasing that emotion because I correlated that excited feeling to winning. And of course, as a trader, you want to stay winning, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so um I was looking for that. Like, I was looking for there a setup, but I was looking more so for that emotion, you know. And that kind of that of course that'll screw me up. That's not a trading plan. That's not a game plan, or as you were saying, it's not a trading strategy. Um, so that's something I had to be aware of. That's something that I learned through my journaling on how to address it. And because I think at the end of the day, of course, by learning from the greats, they don't, they're not saying to ignore the emotion, but they're saying don't make emotional trading decisions. And so that's exactly what I was doing. Going back to consistency, um, that was the thing I thought I had to be consistent in, chasing that winning feeling. It could be a motivation for that near term, but I don't think it didn't work out for me in the long term. And so of course that's something um I hope you guys can take away from that. But
I didn't.
to you.
I don't know any trader who has a plan where, like, if I feel good, I enter. You know what I mean? Like, there's no. I guarantee there's no trader who's successfully living off of, like, yeah, whenever I feel happy, I just place a trade and I win. Like, there's no, absolutely zero chance. But I think one way to overcome that emotion and just becoming intentional is ask the question, like, okay, why am I feeling this way? For example, what if you're in a trade, right, and it turns against you? What are the emotions that are impacting you in during this time? Well, that's one to ask yourself. Like, am I fearing? Is this fear? Do I want to close the trade? Is that, am I fearful? Why am I fearful? And then, like, just begin going down your own rabbit hole and asking those questions. That's one way to turn those feelings into a constructive habit, a constructive experience. I would say just ask proper questions.
But to take it into real time, like as an example, Reed, like should that trader like pause to answer those questions to write it down? Should they have like a note card on their screen that it's a reminder for them, as they're in the trade? Because it could
I want to
happen
say whatever
fast.
works. Yeah, I want to say whatever. Yeah, definitely. What if you're a scalper, right, or trading on the 1 minute? It's hard to do that, but I still think, like, let's say you took 5 losses in a row as a scalper, small, but and with small risk, you're going to be maybe affected psychologically, and you need to take a step back, take a breather, even if it's just for a minute. Yeah, take 1 minute off, you know, and ask those questions. I think there's always time to ask those questions, and it's almost ignorant to say I don't have time to ask myself these questions. You're ignoring it. That's the ego, right? And I think ego is a huge part of overcoming, and I think that's the human journey. That's the human condition,
Human
overcoming
condition, bro.
the ego.
I love
But
it. I love it.
yeah.
So in this topic of consistency, we're kind of starting off on the consistently bad habits or different things that we were dealing with early in our trading career. Does consistency change over the years?
Oh, in my experience, absolutely. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I have to say yes. It changes as far as the definition. No, I mean, to me, consistency, the word means keep doing it, right? That in general, that means keep doing this. And so I think for me, it's evolved. I kind of mentioned where it went from me just showing up to the charts to actually being adding that intention and adding a little bit more, like consistently sticking to my plan. I would say that's my second phase really of consistency. If we're talking about phases of consistency from beginner to intermediate to advanced, if the beginner trades consistently but he's not doing anything, as as an intermediate trader, I learned that size, position sizing, risk management, that was the second phase of consistency for me. Because after, you're trying to discover, I was trying to discover my plan. I was fluctuating with, okay, only 15 pip stop, that's it, nothing more, nothing less, it has to be 15, and boom, let the trade run. And then, like, following that specific rule was just the beginning of my size management and risk management, and because and I would change it. I would adjust my stop loss, right, as soon as it pulls against me. I'm like, oh, let's move it back a little bit more, see the room here. And I wasn't back testing enough, but size and management is like another thing, and that's part of the plan, right? Following a structured plan for your trading. That's the intermediate, I would say.
Mhm.
What would you say on your journey and maybe other people's experiences that you're familiar with? What would be the second phase of consistency in your mind?
Yeah, I think um, I've been fortunate enough to develop good, consistent habits throughout my journey, such as learning, reading, getting videos, investing into myself. That's part of the
Cool.
consistency that
Consistently learning. That's
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
we're taking it past the charts, guys. Taking it past the charts. All right.
Like it.
Uh, that thing has been there. I think over the times like another small detail for traders is having a consistent like chart template, right? I've gone through
What would
many like your trade analysis, your charting, right? I have gone through many different makeovers, adding this, making it this color, putting using this format or setup. I think then I finally found a consistent chart setup that I stick with
oh, I see.
nowadays. Yeah, and so like those little minute details. And as far as a strategy, of course, it from the time I started to learn, the strategy changed. Even though you had to put in the time and work to learn the strategy, for some reason the strategies I was starting with or approaches weren't getting easier for me, if that makes sense. It wasn't sticking with me. It wasn't easy to execute. So um, I consistently was searching for something that did fit, right? And I finally came across a new, different approach, and it's been stuck with me for a few years now. So, those are small, different details. I mean, like a lot of it, like you were talking about, like one of the main things were being consistent to the plan. And I think that's the ongoing battle day by day that we will deal with. All these some other consistency avenues, those are things we shouldn't ignore if we want to grow and evolve as a trader, you know. And um we're not robots. We're gonna have slip ups. I still fat finger some order tickets, you know, but I'll take note of it.
Or
And
would you hire a robot? Like, what if AI could trade for you, your system for you?
I
Can you?
got
What
trust.
if you were able to?
I got trust issues, man. No, uh, in the case, or I'm able
Technology.
to,
Okay. Yeah.
bro. I'm for it. I'm open to it.
I mean, of course, you're gonna try with a sample account too. You're gonna be smart about it. You know, you're
Yeah.
not gonna go YOLO on it.
I mean, there's already funds that's out there doing it. So it's not impossible. It's just okay. Can I am I certain? Can I stand behind this technology that's gonna do these trades for me? I'm not saying
So
that I'm special in any type of way, but it's just for
you're special, man.
my peace of mind.
No, so you're open to the idea of maybe like AI trading. I'm not talking about like bot signals and stuff. I'm talking about like AI actually adapting and trading for you. You're open to that idea, but you're kind of uncomfortable with letting something else trade, something robotic. I feel like when you say robotic, like no, we're not robots. We can't trade like a robot. But what if we could?
I know.
Like, what, right? What would the market be? I think trade you could can you trade like a robot? Meaning like just plan, check, 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 boom, place it without thinking. Like
Yeah.
every day is different, honestly. I just thought of this. Every day is different. You can't be,
Is there? Yeah. Exactly.
yeah, every day.
I forget who said this. One of the great trade market wizards. He was saying, I'm just verbatim. He was saying like the great traders know how to trade against their natural emotions, you know, and they are able to make decisions and make trades and execute them, even though everything in our body is telling us otherwise. And those trades turn out, you know, and that's just an example of, going into this whole AI thing. Like sometimes we might, it might benefit us if a robot or AI was to execute the trade for us. But because at the end of the day, right now, as of now, a lot of the most of the AI, it's programmed by humans, right?
Yeah, and
So
humans flaw.
yeah, yeah.
Humans have flaws, so
Who knows?
it's
There
all
might
right.
be that hidden deep big robot out there, Skynet or whatever, Matrix. Who
Who
knows?
knows? It's probably out there for sure.
Yeah, so let's reel it back. Let's reel it back to, a few takeaways for the audience with as far as consistency. We kind of touched on some, you know, what other pointers can we leave them with from this episode, from this topic?
Um, I think be consistent with your actions, even if they're wrong actions. Because what if you don't know that you're doing something wrong? You wouldn't know if you're not consistently doing it, right? And I think to add to that, like the third phase, if we're getting in, that I think of that we're getting into, is journaling. So the way to adjust your trading is first, you got to consistently do the same thing. Second, you have to know what you're doing, and that's through journaling. So you could be like, hey, at 7:50 p.m. every night, I'm the most successful trader with my strategy. Highest strike rate of the entire year is 7:50 p.m. every day. So that's my trading time. But you wouldn't know that if you didn't journal. And you wouldn't get that journal data, if you're not consistent, meaning consistently showing up, consistently trading, and consistently journaling. I think that's the next phase. That's any new trader out there, anyone listening, like if consistency, you hear consistency all the time, I want you to think consistently journal. They need to go together. They have to go together. You can't have one. I mean, you can't have success without journaling. So I mean, and consistency. So that's my 2 cents, man. I would love to hear what you have to say.
No, I agree with every part. I love the way you broke it down from, um, where they're at in their journey from the beginner, intermediate to advanced. I'm sure there's other things out there that a lot of great traders still do. They're still learning, they're still looking open for growth, they're still conversating with other great people, and always finding ways to improve. That saying iron sharpens iron. I think that's going to be added to the more later consistency phase, the more advanced. That will be those people, like, how do I improve that 0.1%? How do I get my strike
Yeah.
up? That How do I get, all those minute details. I'm not saying that you and I are there, like, there already, but we're getting to a good point. And it's important to know, it always keeps me grounded and humble, that there's never a mastery level that you're gonna reach. You're gonna reach a great level, maybe you're managing a bunch of money and this and that, but I feel like trading is gonna be that thing that's gonna be, you know, that's going to keep us intrigued decades from now. I don't think we'll get bored of it. We'll probably retire. Maybe, that'll be it. But I don't think a true trader can really, really retire from the
You,
markets.
you have two examples, two legends that I just thought of. One, Tom Basso, didn't he retire, but he still trades his
Yeah.
own personal account?
Yeah. He's not retired. Come
So
on.
that's a legend right there. And then talking about like consistency
and what other words apply to it is like open-mindedness and growth, like you said, constantly learning. Mark Minervini, I just retweeted today. If you guys follow us, it's our handle is at Hawaii Trading. Hawaii Trading. It's at Hawaii Trading on Twitter, and he shares that if a trading book has been well written and it resonates with you, don't just read it once and put it on the shelf, right? You need to constantly look back over that book that influenced your trading and influenced your life consistently. He's like, in the next, because you're 5, you're 10, you're 15, you're gonna see different things. You're gonna be a different trader. And he's like, that book that resonated with you then still resonates with you now. It should, because all the greatest books are timeless, right? The trading books are time. Any book, it doesn't even have to be trading, but like all the great books are timeless. And he was just saying like, don't keep jumping book to book to book to book to book. Revisit those books that really have influenced you. And I'm guilty. I love reading, dude. I really do. I love all kind of trading books, but it's the ones that are really stick with me. I'll buy the physical copy and I'll highlight the shit out of it, man. Like I'll go ham on it, dude. I'll write notes, I'll highlight. And so like I think that's just something that to keep an open mind, right? Keep an open mind, keep learning, and try to
Yeah.
keep improving. And this is Mark Minervini, guys. Like I think he's won the world title for like the best trader in his like what is it called? His class and like competitions is the word I'm
Yeah,
looking for.
competition.
He's won like multiple trading competitions. So don't take this guy's word with a grain of salt, you know, like he's speaking the truth.
Right, right. Consistency to read a book 10 times, not read 10 books one time.
There you go. Woo! There you go.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like we can continue to go on with this topic, but I think we can put a pin on it there when we as we wind down the conversation with this. So someone hearing this episode right now, what can they do? Actionable step. It doesn't have to be big. What's an actionable step that they can do right away?
Man, one thing, dude, you put me on the spot with I
One
have to
thing.
choose one thing because I'm like, okay, you need a journal, you need to read,
One thing.
know.
One thing, bro.
One thing, dude. I'm always gonna go to this. You got a journal. Like
Mhm.
you could read books. Reading and journaling are gonna be my number 1 and 2. But if I really really had to choose one, because Glenn's putting me on the spot, it has to be journaling because reading is great, but if you're not taking action, then what good is it really? Whereas with journaling, you have to take action. That is what journaling is. It's literally an actionable step. You have to. And what I mean by journaling, it's
Yeah.
okay. I placed the trade. What led up to that trade? Did I place the trade or not? Why or why not? And explain your reasoning. I think being as precise and as detailed as possible is better, but even just writing a sentence real quick and taking a screenshot of your chart, two minor things that you have to do for journaling is so key. So I mean, that's my final answer. I'm gonna hammer it right there before I go on and talking about journaling, man. What is your answer, dude?
I think it's to just take a step back, right? If my younger self was listening to this, take a step back, get aware of where you're at and where you want to go, and then continue to take, the small little actions, the bite-sized actions. I mean, the journaling is key, so key, so clutch. But reassess, like everyone has lives, everyone has a busy schedule, family and whatnot, career. But being consistent, I think there's that thing. Someone was saying if you contribute 18 minutes a day every day for the year, I think that's an extra. I'm bad at math. Was it 1,000 hours or something? At 100 hours, I don't know. Do the math, but that's all it takes, guys.
Trader.
Five,
Here's a
ten
trader talking
minutes.
about numbers.
Yeah, I know, right? So if
No,
my
no.
point is to really be intentional. Schedule 10 minutes. If that's all you have, schedule 10 minutes. Do some just reviewing on the chart, journaling on the chart, or just back testing, right? And just carry that forward every day. And then build that habit, you know, that's gonna help you guys create that foundation in order to just build upon on. You don't want a weak foundation and just start throwing things on top of it. You want to, you know, take the baby steps. They say, crawl before you run, you know, and I find that true. There's no like hack in trading to be a trader, guys. Like
What?
there's no hack, bro. Okay, you can't just like tell Chat GPT to go get you
Break
a
for me.
$1 million trading thing. They'll give you an answer. Okay, but it's not that easy. You can't just punch in up, down, left, right, select, A, B, select, guys. You cannot punch code. So, those little baby steps, the journaling, and just being intentional with your time. And I think that'll be a great start, you know. So Q2, right? If you guys set a goal in January to become a trader or start learning how to trade, 3 months already passed, guys. So let's start diving in. Don't give up on a year, right? Like, oh, this year was a trial, we'll do it next year, you know? Start now, be consistent, and you know, we want to see and hear you guys winning. Hear about that. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. You know where to find us we're on the social media channels, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Find us at hawaiitradingacademy.com. Whether you're looking to improve your trading mindset and growth, we'll provide you with the tools, tips, and inspiration you need to make your next breakthrough. So tune in and let's edge up together.